Hi everyone, welcome to a new video. Today's subject, Shun vs Dalstrong. Chinese-made knives are becoming more and more popular. Increasingly consumers are trying to understand the differences between Chinese brands like Dalstrong and actual Japanese brands like Shun. In this article, I'm going to tell you the differences between these two brands. I'll go in-depth into the details of each, talking about where they are made, what materials are used and the difference in price. This should be all the information you need to select your perfect knife. If you're looking for an authentically Japanese, super sharp knife, then the Shun is the one for you. If you don't care so much about heritage and want to get the most for your money in terms of quality materials, then the Dalstrong is a great choice. Either way, both these brands offer terrific knives. The Shun Classic 8-inch is a superb knife and I'd highly recommend it. The Shun Classic is an absolute masterpiece of merging Japanese and Western influences, and I'd highly recommend it to anyone interested in quality knives that are a bit different. I don't think you could be disappointed with this knife. Overall, Shun Cutlery delivers everything you could want in a kitchen knife. These knives are sharp, sturdy, and well-balanced. Shun knives are on the lighter side, especially when compared to popular German-style knives. Shun has an incredible reputation in the cutlery industry, and it is well earned. The knives are beautifully made, aesthetically pleasing, and ultra-sharp. The most common complaint about Shun knives is that the edges chip easily due to the hardness of the steel. While this can be a deal-breaker for the uninitiated, it can easily be mitigated by proper care and technique. My Dalstrong recommendation. My Dalstrong recommendation would be its most popular knife, the Shogun Series X Chef's Knife. It's a hammered Damascus finish using Aus10V Steel, incredible quality when compared with the price. Since the steel is extremely hard, this is a knife you will need to take care of. It has to be stored in a knife block or in a sheath to ensure the blade doesn't get chipped, and it should be wiped clean and dry after every use. But if you do that, you'll be rewarded with an incredibly sharp knife for a price that is pretty hard to beat at this price. Shun vs Dalstrong, what is the difference? Now that we have looked at the design, materials, background and price of these brands, we can fully understand the difference, and you should be able to make an informed decision on which knife is correct for you. The main difference between Shun and Dalstrong knives is that Shun knives offer a brilliant product that is authentically Japanese, whilst Dalstrong offer a great knife, using similar quality materials for a lower price, but they are not authentically Japanese. For many people, when paying upwards of $150 for a knife, that authenticity is important. Dalstrong makes great knives for the price. That's a fact that I think even the most die-hard Japanese knife enthusiasts would accept. However, at the end of the day, they are not a Japanese knife manufacturer. When people are looking to pay hundreds of dollars for just one or two knives, then that authenticity often matters more than the slight price difference. In terms of quality, there is not a great deal of difference between these two knives. I have heard stories that the consistency of quality from Chinese brands like Dalstrong isn't always the best. Some might arrive with a slightly bent blade, for example, but of course, these can always be returned as long as you purchase through a reputable platform like Amazon, who, from my experience at least, always seem happy to refund any purchase with a defect. Shun vs Dalstrong, which is better for you? This really comes down to what is important to you. For anyone interested in a truly Japanese knife, I would recommend the Shun all day long. But if you're not bothered about the heritage and are looking for a quality knife that represents very good value for money, the Dalstrong is a great choice. I know that a lot of people will expect the real deal if they are paying $150 plus for a single knife. If it says it's Japanese, they expect it to be made in Japan. If that's you, then the $30 to $50 price difference between Shun and Dalstrong won't matter all that much. That difference might be worth paying in order to get a truly Japanese knife. But if that heritage side isn't that important to you and you just want a quality knife, using quality materials but at great value, you won't be disappointed with a Dalstrong. Shun vs Dalstrong, where are they made? All Shun knives are manufactured in the Japanese city of Seiki. Seiki is known as the knife capital of Japan. With a population of only 90,000, it lies around 150 miles from Toyoko but is the central hub for all of Japan's major knife manufacturers. Shun knives are designed with a Japanese influence but to suit the demands of the Western market, with a larger focus on durability compared with other Japanese brands. Dalstrong manufactures its knives in Yangjiang, China. On the face of it, the fact that Dalstrong knives are manufactured in China might be a little off-putting. Let's be honest, when we see the words made in China we usually think that the quality isn't going to be great, but with Dalstrong I think there are some large benefits from having production based there. They still use quality materials, but as the manufacturing costs are kept low these savings are passed on to the customer. Dalstrong provides a range of both Japanese and German-influenced knives. In this article though, I'm mainly focusing on their most popular Japanese style, the Shogun Series X. Shun is the real deal in regard to being produced directly in the heartland of its Japanese heritage, whilst Dalstrong is definitely less authentic. Shun versus Dalstrong, what steel do they use? The steel used in knives will often change depending on which range you pick. This is particularly true of Dalstrong. They use 3 different steels throughout their ranges as they have both German and Japanese influenced knives. Their German series uses X50 CRMOV15 and their Japanese series use both Aus10V and Aus8 depending on the range. For a fair comparison, I'm going to focus on the most popular range for both Shun and Dalstrong knives. For Shun that's their classic range, and for Dalstrong it's their Shogun Series X range, which uses their best steel Aus10V. The Shun Classic range uses their own Japanese steel VG Max. Not all Shun knives are made from VG Max, it's their own specially formulated steel with the aim of VG Max being an improvement on the, already very good, VG10 Steel. VG Max is a fantastic steel. It's been made with a Japanese influence in mind but also with a strong focus on appealing Western markets. That means it's got a fantastic balance between strength and durability. We can see why when we look at VG Max's levels of carbon, vanadium and chromium. This is a high carbon steel, with a carbon content of 1.1%. Often, such a high carbon steel will be more prone to chips in the blade. As materials become harder they usually become more brittle, however, that's not quite the case for VG Max. To understand why we'll look at the vanadium content first. For a high carbon knife it's pretty high at 0.3%. As a result VG Max is more resistant to wear than most other high carbon steels. The chromium content is a very hefty 16%. That makes VG Max one of the best stainless steel on the market at resisting rust. Those two factors make this a very durable high carbon steel. The Dalstrong Shogun Series X range uses Japanese steel Aus10V. Other Dalstrong knives use X50 CRMOV15 for their German range and Aus8, another Japanese steel. This is where we start to see the benefits of Dalstrong knives. The materials they use are very good quality, in this case, imported from Japan, but the Chinese manufacturing reduces the cost to the consumer. Aus10V is a Japanese steel with a great reputation. It's a high carbon steel, with a carbon content between 0.95% to 1.1%. That means the steel is very hard, allowing it to hold a sharper edge for longer. The chromium level is also high at 13% to 14.5%. Again, that's not as high as many quality Western-style knives, often 15% chromium, but it's still enough to make Aus10V a quality stainless steel and therefore very rust-resistant. That hardness is clearly shown in the Rockwell scale score. Both these brands have a higher score, with the Dalstrong Shogun Series X knives having the higher HRC at 62. Shun vs Dalstrong, how sharp are they? Once again I'm going to focus on the most popular knives from each brand for this comparison. The Dalstrong will have a slightly sharper edge as the factory angle is smaller and the steel is slightly harder. However, both the knives will give a super sharp edge with great edge retention. Sharpness is vital when looking for a knife, but in this case, there's a bit more to it than just looking at which knife has the smallest angle of its edge. Usually, the smaller the angle, the sharper the blade. However, there are other considerations that are particularly important when comparing these two knives. Harder knives will hold a sharper edge for longer. Dalstrong uses slightly harder steel so it will retain its sharp edge for longer. The Dalstrong knives also come out of the factory at a 12-degree angle, again increasing sharpness. Of course, that more acute angle also increases the risk of chipping on the edge. If you wanted you could sharpen the Shun to a 12-degree angle, Personally, I prefer the more sensible 16-degree angle, which provides plenty of sharpness but will also increase the durability. But overall, the Dalstrong is the sharper of these two knives. Shun vs Dalstrong, what are the handles made from? The material used for handles is a vital and often overlooked feature of any knife. A quality handle is often the sign of a quality overall knife. Handles need to be made from a durable material that can withstand all the heat and moisture fluctuations knives can experience in the kitchen. Once again, we'll focus on the two main ranges from each brand, the Shun Classic and Dalstrong Shogun Series X knives. Shun use a wood/resin composite called Pakkawood for their knife handles. Pakkawood is extremely common in knife handles for quality Japanese knives, although many non-Japanese knife manufacturers around the world have begun to use it as well. Pakkawood is a great material for knife handles. It's more dense and durable than real timber. That means it's more resistant to wear and tear and won't crack over time as timber handles might. The versatility of design also makes it a popular choice. It can be dyed all sorts of colors and will often give the appearance of a true wood finish. Pakkawood is very resilient to temperature and moisture changes and makes a terrific material of choice. It also adds to the Japanese influence of the knife, with Pakkawood being a popular Japanese knife handle material. Dalstrong uses a fiberglass laminate called G10 for their executive plus knife handles. Not all Dalstrong knives use G10, but all Dalstrong ranges do use good quality materials for their handles, such as Pakkawood. G10 is a fiberglass laminate, making it a fantastic material for knife handles. It has the perfect combination of being extremely lightweight and very tough. It will be able to withstand any of the standard pressure of a kitchen. Dalstrong use a variety of materials for their handles, not just G10. But they always use quality materials, such as the Pakkawood used for their Phantom series, a quality wood/resin material commonly used as a material by traditional Japanese knife manufacturers. So whichever range of Dalstrong knives you choose, you can be confident that the handle will be a quality, durable and comfortable one. Both Pakkawood and G10 are top quality knife handle materials, so there is little to choose between the two here. Shun vs Dalstrong, how much do they cost? Both these brands have wide ranges of knives, all at differing price ranges. To allow for a fairer comparison, I've categorized three of their major ranges that represent their highest and lowest cost knives. I've tried to compare similar knives, sticking to 8-inch chef's knives or the closest equivalent they have in the range. In brackets next to the general price range you'll see the name of the range. These prices are rough estimates. Prices do change over time, but this is intended as a rough guide. What is clear is that Dalstrong continually offers their knives at a slightly lower price point, and this is typical of the new, high-quality Chinese knives entering the market. They are using materials of similar quality but reducing their manufacturing cost significantly by basing production in China. As a result, they can continually undercut the prices of the knife manufacturers based in places like Japan.